Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my channel. We're going to do a shotgun review and discuss the experience we had with this fine 1911 pistol. And some of these, judging by the title for this, it is the Walther Colt 1911. And sometimes the older ones will actually have the Colt logo on here, and the newer ones say Walther. But anyway, just your standard, open the case up. Now you will see there is a magazine in here. We'll check this to make sure it's clear. It is. So what you get is you get the little Allen wrenches you need, the hex keys. You also get the wrench for the barrel, because this is a threaded right here. It fits right on there like that. And I'll tell you the thread sizes here in a moment, at some point during this review. So basically there's nothing new and different. It is a 1911 22 LR Colt government model, and I like how that looks on the slide. Now this has interesting features on here. You have the polymer grips, which I'm assuming they're standard size. You should be able to put whatever grips you want on here. I think these look great. I like that whole aesthetic layout with the black and the old school look. Now they have different models of this. They have some that have a rail right here. They have some in FDE, flat dark earth color, different colors and tones. There's different kinds you can get. Very solid, traditional 1911. There's really not much different to discuss with this, so I'm not going to be redundant and go all over that. This is all works the same. You can do the same decocking by pushing on the beaver tail with one hand, if you want to decock with one hand. So the only thing that would be different would be the sights, and you do have loosen it by hex key, which is why you have these wrenches. And also the front sight is driftable and movable like that, and removable. So you just loosen that, you can take the front sight right out. And this shot excellently. Did drift a little bit to the left out of the box, so we made an adjustment. Very quick, very easy to do. And this thing was a great shooter. Now before I get into all the stuff with this, I just want to tell you that if you're on the fence about buying one of these, because it's a 22 and a lot of times you'll have like reliability issues with different ammunitions, bulk ammos for example. If you have anything that's over 1200 feet per second or more, we were shooting stuff that was 1290 all the way up to Stingers we were shooting, which were even higher than that. And we had some Remington Golden bullets, and we also had some Federal cheap bulk ammo, nothing special. And this ran everything. Even with a couple of shots that were taken, you could feel kind of the slide was sluggish. You know, sometimes when you're shooting inconsistent bulk ammo, once in a while you'll have one that's like a slightly less puff when it shoots, so you can feel it when you shoot it. Even with that, this cycled and picked up the next round. So typically what will happen with semi-automatic handguns is it won't kick the slide back hard enough to pick a round up on the way back, and you'll end up with an empty chamber. Didn't have any issues with this at all. Nothing. There was no jams, no problems. Everything ran great. So we had this Federal value pack. Nothing fancy, nothing special. These ran great. Didn't have any issues. And in fact, this ammo was actually pretty good because there was only one misfire out of about 200 rounds that I shot. And so you can get this with a 10 or 12 round magazine. It only came with one. Ordered a second one online. They're pretty available. I would recommend picking up an extra one. They're probably not the cheapest magazines to buy, but they're not extraordinarily expensive either. But I believe that it should have come with two. But the price tag for this was $300. $300. And the lowest price I saw online for this same basic government model today was $279. I think the website was Gun Prime. So $279 and up, $20 to $30 shipping. Sometimes there's free shipping. Shop around a little bit, and they have them listed for $3.99 on the Walther Colt website. You can buy them through their website too. So obviously that's more. That's the suggested price. And this weighs about the same. It's about 2.5 pounds. It's steel. It weighs about the same as a 1911. It's the same size. There's really nothing different from that. It's like what they did was, you can see, it's usually what they do with 1911 style 22s, is they want to have the dimensions of a 1911, so you can see the slide metal is thicker, which is actually good. But this has another thing with this is it has a fixed barrel, so it's a very good shooter. The slide reciprocates very nicely, as you can see. 5-inch barrel. The trigger is listed at 5.5 pounds to pull the trigger. And I'm not going to dry fire this, but it's your basic 1911 trigger. It's, you know, it's not going to set the world on fire, but it's a 1911 trigger. They're all like that, pretty much, unless you get a competition trigger, which I could imagine you can customize this. I don't know all the stuff available for the 22, but I can tell you that the disassembly is pretty much in the same as you would. You know, you push the plunger in there and turn the, gives them a jigget, and it comes apart. You know, the bushing just comes out like a normal 1911, and so you get the slide stop. Everything's basically the same. So there's nothing different to really stand out. It's pretty self-explanatory. Has a limited 1-year warranty, and like I said, they do have different models with different sights. And you have your safety thing and registration. They want you to register at waltherarms.com. And so this thing right here, now I've seen a lot of reviews online with these magazines, and they're saying after a while the edge of this was sharp and cutting into their thumb. They actually physically had cuts, but these are not sharp like that. So those must have been the older ones. Like this one here feels a little more coarse, but it still feels smooth. We used it, loaded them several times. I shot at least 200 rounds. My brother shot a whole bunch as well, and they didn't chew the thumbs up. But they do give you this little gizmo to slip over the magazine if you want some assistance if it does bother you. So anyway, that's really about all there is to talk about this. There's nothing new and different. It's got the same. Works really great. Everything works easy. The final thing is when we were shooting this, when it was new, The slide was a little stiffer than it is now. Now it's broken in. I would say give it a couple hundred rounds to break it in. But what would happen is you'd put a magazine in, and you'd do this, let it go, and it wouldn't chamber all the way. It would be not all the way in battery. So you'd have to give it a little push like that. That disappeared pretty quickly after shooting a few rounds, breaking it in. And I think it's just the slide had to break in. That's it. So there was no issues. And first couple of magazines, I think one of them had a stovepipe. I should mention that. But again, that's because the magazine was, the slide was stiff. That's all it was. So that broke in very quickly. You won't have any issues with that. These are tried and true. They've been making them for a long time. I think Walther started doing them in the around 2010 or 11, I think, or 2012. Could be wrong. I know years and years and years ago in the 1920s and 30s, there were Colt 22s. Some of them had problems, some of them didn't. A lot of them were really good. The ones they made for competition shooting were really good. But the 1911s, some people did conversions with a different barrel for 22. I don't know how to do all of that stuff, but I just wanted to mention that everything is fine with this. You will enjoy it. And we will have a shooting video coming up shortly, a short one. And you'll see it shoots very well. And you know, don't shy away from this one. I mean, for this price point, I just couldn't believe it, because I have a GSG 1911. It has an aluminum slide, and it just this just feels like a 1911. It's just better. This is a better pistol than the GSG. That's just really the sad truth, which is unfortunate because I love my GSG. And the slide is actually, it says it's Tenifer, which if you look that up, it's basically a way of hardening steel. And so it's kind of a lighter weight steel, but it's been treated, carbon treated, and it's solid. It's very solid. There's nothing cheap on here. Steel construction is steel construction, which is really nice, because the GSG I'm going to have problems with later is the slide is going to wear out because it's aluminum. Aluminum is softer. So this will have a lot more longevity, $30 to $40 more than the GSG. And in my opinion, this is just the way to go. And like I said, they have different versions. You could buy one for $350, $360. They get different features like the rail I was talking about. So different sights, more modern adjustable sights, and you know, if you want night sights and stuff like that. But anyway, that's about all I have to say on this. I really hope you enjoyed this, and check out the shooting video at the end of this. And you know, this is a good one. Don't shy away from this. This is a fantastic pistol. It looks old school. It is old school. And we'll get some oil. But more importantly, it's a great shooter. Okay, that's the thing. And what I wanted to point out on this, for the last thing I'll say before the shooting video, is I didn't get it on video, unfortunately. But I shot this. I shot a magazine, 12 rounds. I shot 12 rounds at 104 yards. And I plinked 10 out of 12 shots, just standing, offhand, standing. So, I mean, I don't think I'm God's gift to shooting or anything, but the point is, I've done that with other pistols, and sometimes it's hit or miss at that distance with 22s from a 5-inch barrel. I was plinking with this. Now, I could have got lucky, I don't know, but it really was right on the money for me. I bonded with this pistol very quickly, and this is what I shot. Nothing special at all. So take that for what it is, and enjoy the short shooting video, and thank you very much for watching. We are going to head down with the Colt's government model caliber 22 long rifle, and we're going to take some shots. The first thing I noticed with this, to answer any questions, that it's the type of questions you would get, and it's a functional 1911 like any other. Like if you get the hammer cocked and you want to decock it with one hand, you push down on the grip safety, pull the trigger, bring the thumb back. What we noticed with this thus far is how reliably it runs with different bulk ammos. Running some cheap Federal bulk ammo earlier, it functioned it just fine, and in my GSG 1911 it was having jams. So this Colt government model ran like a top with less than favorable inconsistent bulk ammo, so that's good news. So what we're going to do is we're going to run some Remington Golden bullets. We'll run those in here. When this was new, you'd pull it back, and a lot of times it felt like you had to give it an extra push to close it, but now it's breaking in, and there hasn't been any issues. So let's see what we got here. As you can see, it just ran all these golden bullets just fine. And that is the big plus I have noticed with this thus far, is how smooth it runs, how reliable it's been. Haven't had any jams at all, and it's like a couple hundred rounds in right now, close to it. We've shot some Stingers, the better stuff. We've shot golden bullets, Federal bulk pack that usually gives people problems, the cheap stuff. In certain semi-automatic pistols, they always run well in rifles, but pistols are a different thing. So let's take another magazine of 12 rounds. I ran those really well. This is just a great pistol. I mean, come on. It's like, and this was just under $300. I mean, are you kidding me? So I would highly recommend getting one of these. You will not be disappointed. I swear you will not.